Hi, and welcome to the Investing on a 9 to 5 podcast. I'm Paul.
And I'm Teddy. We are excited that you are joining our show, Investing on a 9 to 5, where we will talk about our investment journey, our current strategies, and learn about all kinds of investing related topics. But before we dive in, we are not financial advisors. We will not be held liable for any personal investing decisions or losses that you may occur in the market. This page is purely for entertainment purposes only.
Welcome back to the Investing on a 9 to 5 podcast. It is your boy, the Dividend Dog. And on today's podcast, we have my main man, Paul, Options_Legacy. And we have two of the top female investors on Twitter and in the stock market. We have Alexis and MzNovie on today's podcast. And we're going to just hear their story on how they started investing. We're going to hear from a lady's perspective on what they see in the market, and we'll hear a couple of things in their portfolio, and hear, maybe they've made some mistakes and what they've learned from it and so on, just to hear it from their perspective and showing you guys again, how the collaboration is happening on Twitter and in a financial perspective from male and female. So stick around, and this is going to be one here for the book. So just giving up an update here, Paul. I know last week, you said you were busy with work and, you weren't on Twitter, putting out the plays as we were per usual, or like we do per usual. What was been going on? Or like work's been busy and...
Yeah, work's always busy, and it's just busier now with some added responsibilities I've got there. But in the market wise, you and I have been texting a little bit, and PayPal's exciting right now, I think.
Yeah.
I got into some PayPal options. I think we hit a bottom back there with some news, and they had a little investor meeting 2 or 3 days ago where they went over some of their objectives for the coming year. And that's one of my main positions I'm really excited about for the future. I've got some leap options, no shares.
Okay.
I got some,
I think,
what's that?
I said, you say no shares right now?
No shares, just some leap options. I think they got to June of 2025, I think. And they're right there with that price target of $100. So we put a few shares into that. And I mean, it is busy at my job. So it's not as easy for me to get into, some due diligence and look at plays. So I kind of like am being selective about what I'm in. And I'm just running my 403B that the dog got me in with my FZ Rocks. That's still rolling.
Hey, we're going to talk about FZ Rocks because we got another person on the line.
I know. I noticed that. I saw that. I was doing our Twitter research for our guests here, so that's gonna be good. That's what I'm doing.
That's it. And then that's good. And then you got your Amazon too, right?
I just with Amazon, I filed for my LLC this week. So that should take a few days or few weeks to get back from the Secretary of State here in Arkansas. Okay. Once that's done, then I'll be legit LLC with Amazon business.
Big moves here. I remember when Paul told me at the beginning, he was like, "Hey man, I'm gonna go see if I can start something in Amazon." Now he's starting an LLC. Look at this guy. This guy's making moves, being quiet. Love it, winning over here. So I like to hear, man. Well, that's good. And PayPal is definitely on my watch list. It's funny that you mentioned that you were in that option call. I have watched a video on them on Everything Money. I don't know if you've ever seen those guys before. I think it's Everything is Money or Everything Money on YouTube. There's an investor, his name's Paul, and he goes really into depth on like just value stocks. And normally when I go watch his videos, he only goes into, they use their 8 pillars on bringing out a stock. They have a whole system. Just like Yahoo Finance does, just like the screen stocks to let you know if it's a buy or not. But PayPal came back like from their 8 pillars, as like, I think it checked like 6 or out of the 8 boxes or something like that. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go check out the charts, and then that's when I sent you that information. And that's when you sent me back.
Yeah, we don't discuss that kind of stuff. We don't like get together and say, hey, we're gonna start talking about PayPal. He pops up something on Twitter, and I'm like, oh hey, yeah. I'm into that too.
Yeah,
it's really independent of each other.
Joy that I love about Twitter. I can just say, hey, is anyone watch this or have it on their watch list? And before you know it, you have a whole like threads with people just, being engaged on it. And the chart here, excuse me, and the chart here on PayPal is like, it's definitely taking a dip. So I'm definitely looking to grab some shares, but my play of the week with me was just GM. I'm gonna be honest with you.
I saw that.
I hit on the GM call, and then I've scooped up like 10 shares the last couple weeks, and then I'm gonna get like 5 more in a couple weeks here too. So I'm just gonna keep pounding the metal with that one.
Are you buying shares outside of your regular, like what you get through work, or is that only work related shares you're getting?
Both of them.
Okay.
But majority of them are coming through just direct through purchase through work. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's like if you work for Walmart, you can do share purchasing, so that's
yeah.
I don't think you're an insider. I don't think you're saying right now it's not going to move the stock, bro.
No, no. But listen, when I saw the CFO purchase $1 million worth of shares, I'm like, all right, this thing is about to make a move here at some point.
That's what's happening at PayPal. There's a lot of insider buying. Someone, I don't know if I shared it with you. Someone posted a thing about like the insiders bought like 500,000 in shares or something. I forget what it was, but it was a huge number.
Yeah, I think I remember you telling me that that it was that they had a bunch of insider buyers come in the last few months. But yeah, that's been my only like pickup, and I've been doing a lot of spring like trimming too. Like I've been getting rid of more like just like stuff that I'm like, I'd rather add it to SCHC, or I'd rather add it to Uber. Oh, and Uber. I've been adding to Uber too.
I saw you trying to shut Dave down this morning. Hey, don't talk about that.
Yeah, trying to get that thing to run to the moon. I'm like, dude, come on, let me get some more shares before it makes a move. I'm only working on limited funds here, Dave. I need time. But no, Uber's doing great things. They're partnering with Ford. They're partnering with Uber, Uber Eats is now partnering with Party City. So when you now have a birthday party, you can just order all your goods and everything will get delivered to your house. Now,
yeah,
moms out there, I know that's a stressful thing. I know that. So it's like, who will want to go to Party City and or rather have it, delivered just like we have our food delivered. So they're making good moves. And I like the CEO and the way he's taking risks with the company, because that's what you have to do with a growth company to make it, get your market share. So, and the market's been running well. I know everyone on the call, Alexis and MzNovie, I know you guys have been killing it with the gains with Zvrox and ET and
let's introduce our guests. They've been sitting here.
Yes, I'm so sorry. Sorry, ladies. Yes. So I'm going to go ahead and hand the ball over to our first guest. Her name is Alexis. She is on Twitter. I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to her just so you guys can know where to find her. Alexis, the floor is yours.
My name is Alexis. I'm on Twitter as Alexis_investor. I'm on Instagram as Proverbs 31 investor. And I've been investing for several years. I'm 38 years old. I started in the banking industry at 19 years old. So I worked as a teller. And just working as a teller and seeing people come in and make those large deposits, and seeing people sit down with the investment advisor in the branch really just inspired my decision to start investing. So I did start investing really early, but as time progressed in my 20s, I kind of made some mistakes, some bad financial decisions, like cashing out on my 401k early, just not taking it seriously, but just sticking around the banking industry. I still work in the bank for Bank of the West currently, which is a bank that's dominant on the West Coast. I grew up in Oakland, California. And so just the older I got, the more I saw the importance of investing. And so that has really just like inspired me to invest, just like my role at the bank. Again, seeing people make those large deposits, having access to financial advisors, and oftentimes just talking to customers and Just their journey, that has inspired me as well.
Mhm.
I moved to Atlanta, Georgia as a wealth building hack because, like I said, I am from California where the cost of living is higher. I
Mm,
ended up purchasing a home for like 180,000 new build. And I did that as a focus on retirement because I do want my house to be paid off. And I ended up paying less for a mortgage than for rent, which gave me the opportunity to invest more of my money as well.
good moves.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
You
That's
made your
awesome.
mistakes in your 20s as opposed to me, who, waited till my 40s to do that with investing. So good on you. Get out of
Thank
the
you.
way, because we all make mistakes doing it, especially when first getting started. So
Yeah.
get out the way before.
So tell us, as far as like your journey from when you started investing to as far as like your portfolio and the way you see investing to how you invest now, what would be some tips that you could give some listeners out there that are just starting?
So when I began to take investing seriously, while I was learning, I decided to stick with index funds before I got into stocks because I wanted to eliminate risk and I didn't know what I was doing. And I felt like if you don't know what you are doing, index funds is just the easiest way to go. It's something that I heard Warren Buffett also recommend. So that's definitely the advice I would give to a new investor.
Okay.
Is just like if you don't know what you're doing, to stick or start off with just a S&P 500 index fund.
Mm-hmm. I
What's
Um,
agree.
what would be what's one of your top, what would be like a good recommendation for S&P 500 fund that you like?
so I'm a Fidelity girl, and
Okay.
so I love Fidelity. The customer service is great. The platform is great. They have a lot of educational things on their platform. And so for me, the low cost index fund, my go-to and where I keep majority of my money is in FXAIX, which is a S&P 500 index fund, and the expense ratio is very low.
What's the
Um,
difference between that one and FZ Rocks? Because I noticed you have
and
that too.
that's like my second largest holding. And so um, I believe FXAIX has about 503 different holdings, whereas
Mhm.
FZROX has about 3,000 holdings, but the expense ratio on FZROX is zero. So you're not
Mhm.
paying
It's
any.
it's one of those totally
It's
managed
the
free
total market as
companies.
opposed to S&P 500 type of deal, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
Mhm.
That's what I've got. My 403B is all in FZ Rocks.
Nice. One of the things that I noticed recently with my 401k through my job is that it was in a target fund and I wasn't really getting or maximizing on my growth potential. And
Right.
so
Mhm.
I talked to a coworker and he was like, we have an S&P 500 option. So I ended up moving everything to that S&P 500 option. So that's another, financial mistake that I've made recently, was just not paying attention to what my 401k was invested in.
That's a good one. I've heard out there a lot of times people talking about either having their stuff in a target date fund, or I've heard people out there talking about, well, yeah, I put money in my 401k, but they don't have it invested in nothing. It's going into like a cash account. So for all y'all out there who have a 401k, a 403b, a 457, any kind of retirement account through your work, you have to look at what it's not just you're putting money into it, but where that money goes. And target date funds are notoriously expensive. They're notoriously, I think, conservative for most people. Even the extended date funds are going to put you in a high rate of bonds, in my opinion, for my tastes. So you want to look at your risk reward, what you're looking to get, because you can almost always get a better return on your investment and just as safe if you get out of the target date funds and go to something a little more like FC Rocks or the other one that Alexis was talking about. So that's just whenever it comes up, I feel like I have to say that just because people I don't think get it, or we have different listeners who haven't heard this before. When I was first getting started, I didn't know the difference. So it just it helps people out there get more education about what they're getting into. I appreciate it, Alexis. Thank you.
Yes, that's awesome, Alexis. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So next up, guys, we are going to hand over the mic to Miss Jovina Thomas. We thank you again for joining us.
Hey guys, this is such a pleasure. When I first got asked by you guys, I was like, oh my God. And then to have Alexis on too, oh my goodness, it's like so
Listen,
surreal.
I was
But
crossing my fingers, you guys, as well as be in the room. It was
yeah,
awesome.
so since me being very heavy on Twitter since 2020 in the midst of the pandemic, I've gained so many tight relationships with people from all walks of life. And, to actually be here with you guys today, face to face, virtually, like it's awesome. I'm Genovia, as you guys say. Everyone knows me as Miss Invest. And I came up with that name because I was so intrigued with investing. And for me, and many of us on here, when it comes to investing, many people in that area don't look like us. And back in 2016, I went to my bank. Wells Fargo is my bank. And I asked one of the bankers, I was getting a card. And I asked, how much would I need? Could you guys help me with investing? Now, mind you, I'm a year older than Alexis. I'm 39. I'm a mom of two and 2 girls. And I have their dad. That's number 3. No, but but yeah, so I'm a family woman, so I'm coming to them back then. I only had 1 kid, and the guy told me $100,000. I was like,
You shut you
okay.
down.
So I walked out of there, Paul, I was just like, okay, so where am I going to go from here?
Right.
2017, I found Stash. I started blindly investing in Stash I started with $5 a week. I upped it as it went, and I took it upon myself to think about where my money is already going. I invested in Wells Fargo. They have something blue chips where it gives you a broad investment of the market, something like the S&P 500. I go to Walmart. I started putting $5 into Walmart. Started putting $5 into Exxon and Mobil. I go there. I use
you go.
gas money. So that was my thought process. And when I got my first dividend, you guys, I was like, hold on. I got 15 cents back and I ain't doing nothing.
Hey.
Oh, it was on and popping from there. It was on and popping from there. So that's what got me into it heavily. My dad is a computer engineer for Sony, and he had some investment accounts with them. So that's the first talk about it, but he didn't know how to help me. My mom is into the school board. She retired. I'm also a Head Start teacher. So my income is limited, So she didn't know either. She was like you, Alexis, she put into some money and she doesn't really know where it was going. But gracefully and thankfully, it was building. So by the time she came out, she had close to $500,000 invested. And that was blindly, just as I was doing something blindly. So I was like, okay, my mom has set the bar. My dad has set the bar. I got to learn. So I can help them understand. And that's where it took off from there. 2019, I learned. 2020, the pandemic hit. I was ready. I had about a little under 10K just sitting. I put 5K in and had it in Robinhood. I didn't like what was going on. I was in a few investment groups and something was happening with their accounts. So I got into TD Ameritrade. I heard so much great things about them. Loved it. Learned the platform quickly. And from everything that year, everyone was online talking about getting Amazon packages. I was buying into Amazon. I was buying into more different dividend companies and more ETFs. So by the end of 2020, my income, everything we had gotten from the government, and I got kids, so I was putting that up as well. Fast forward to 2021, that 5K I started with, between that I got into crypto the end of 2020 as well. I
Mhm.
turned that 5K into 85K at the peak
Wow.
of 2021. And now here we go, like my girl Alexis, 2022, I lost some too. I took a big loss, not understanding margin and a few other things. So I lost about 25K. But as we all talk about daily, those dividends saved your girl. Those dividends.
Yeah.
And that's what kept my spirits up. So I went back to the drawing board. And
Mhm.
even after taking those losses and having to readjust, fix my margin, sell off some things, in the midst of that, we had so many stock splits. We
Hmm.
had so many great companies that went down and people were scared to buy. Then I was buying. So I know in this next bull run, I'm going to be good. I'm going to be good. And what I tell people all the time is don't look at us where we are right now at my 1,500 plus annual dividend income. I was there at 15 cents in the beginning. That 15 cent went to 100 and something, to multiple hundreds, and now I'm in the thousand. So start small. You can start. You can start small. You don't need a lot. And to all the mothers, to all the women, you can make it. One thing I started to do is something people don't think about. If you get a good income tax, take that income tax and a portion of it, invest it.
Hmm.
Don't go putting it to, bill. I understand we want to pay. Granted, I'm not going to put that wrong message out there. Pay off your debt now. Pay off your debt.
Hey, listen. This is the platform. Speak it. Let the people hear what
Pay
they.
off your debt. But me, preferably, I used my credit cards in a different manner. I started taking my active income and putting it all into my investments. And in the meantime, I learned to live and manage off of my credit cards and to stay afloat in the meantime and be broke on paper, but rich in investments. And long as you understand how money can truly work for you and multiply, you will flourish. You will
Hmm.
flourish. You will flourish. And when you have a mistake, when you fall, get back up. Every great investor, like Alexis mentioned, Warren Buffett is somebody I respect wholeheartedly so much. And if you don't fall with investing, if someone tells you they've never lost anything, run.
Right.
Run.
They're lying.
They're lying or they
They're
never even
lying.
tried it.
Or if they say
Exactly.
this IPO is about to take off, run.
Listen,
I
run.
I appreciate your message, Novi, because number one, you're right. Everyone has failed. We've all
Mhm.
failed, and you hear on Twitter or TikTok or these places where these guys just throw out these numbers and these profits, like but they don't post their losses. So those are the
Mhm.
red flags. And then the second thing I heard from you is having a plan, regardless of if you want to pay off all your debt or if you're just going to pay the minimums and use the extra money for active income, whatever you're doing, you're not going to be successful if you don't have a plan. If you don't know that check is coming, what I'm going to do with every penny of it, if you don't know that raise is coming, if that income tax refund is coming, you got to plan it out before it gets there. Because once it hits your bank, you're just going to be spending if you don't have a plan. So whatever your plan is going to be, write it down, stick to it, and you will find the success like that. I mean, 15 cents to 1,500. I mean, that's an amazing journey, but it hasn't been without speed bumps. It hasn't been without losses, and that's the important thing to hear.
I think that's
Absolutely.
dope. Just having a plan. Like I told you guys, like when I was in my early 20s, I just blew money and cashed out on my 401k, just did stupid stuff. By the time, I hit my 30s and I got serious with investing, um, it was just like writing everything down. And also, I've been following MzNovie for a long time, and I remember during COVID and just her posting on Twitter and Instagram and just going so hard with that. And also with her kids, talking about setting up trust funds and how her kids are going to be trust fund babies. That really resonated to me because I was raised by my grandparents, and when they passed, they had a trust and they left me money. And so if that money would have been given to me in my early 20s, I would have blew all that money.
Wow.
I didn't touch that money until I was in my mid 30s, but I knew that money was coming. And the first thing I did was write down a plan. This is where I'm taking this money and this is where it's going to. And MzNovie talks a lot about that with her, about your girls, like having a trust fund set up. And so that is not only that, but that inspired me. And I want to put this out there. I work for a corporation, and with my benefits, and a lot of people may have access to this, there's a legal plan, and I pay like $5 out of each paycheck for this legal plan. And I can call an attorney and they'll do a trust power of attorney for me, and I don't pay anything out of pocket.
Right.
And so I was able to set up a trust so that like when my future kids are born, like my house is going to go to them, my investment accounts, and they won't touch the money until they're a certain age. Because if we think about it, a lot of us were not wise in our early, but now that we're older and we have that wisdom, we don't want our children to blow what we worked so hard.
Start all over again, essentially.
That's right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The resources are out there now. It's amazing what they've done. And I think everyone has kind of touched on this whole idea, but I first started around 2016, 2017. So I was well into my 40s when I started getting into investing. But it was a lot of education, like y'all talked about when you went into Wells Fargo and you're like, hey, how do I start investing? They look at you and they said, oh, you need 100 grand. Basically they just shut you down. Right. I grew up with a family. My parents owned a restaurant. They worked, Tuesday through Sunday, all day. My mom was a nurse. She worked nights, and investing wasn't something that ever came up. It wasn't until, later on in life that I learned this was a possibility, but it's because of the platforms available to us. Fidelity is great. I use Fidelity for my long-term stuff. I use TD Ameritrade for my short-term trading stuff, but the ability to just log into an app and say, hey, here's $5 a week, or here's $5 a month. This is what I can afford. And then it starts building and compounding over time. That's something that wasn't available to me when I was in my 20s, for sure. When I got into it, it still paid $5 a trade on Schwab, but now that's all gone away too. So the barriers to entry have come down so much that there really is no excuse for anyone to not be doing something, whatever it is.
Exactly.
Because let me tell you, if we think about it, before COVID, remember all those big old trading fees?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now we have it so easy. And it's so funny because people, they bash me on Twitter sometimes. They'll get in my comments when I post about how some days I just invest $5.
Mm-hmm.
Who's doing that?
That $5, if you think about compound interest, that $5, it's just some days I put I go to Starbucks. If I'm spending $5 on a cup of coffee, I match my Starbucks purchase with a $5 investment into Starbucks. But
exactly,
it's just like
exactly.
Some people out there do dollar challenges, like they're just putting $1 a day in the stock market. It's like no amount is too small as long as you're doing those daily habits. And and like I said, we have it so easy because back before COVID, remember they were charging like $9-10 just for a trading fee.
Yeah. I've talked to people who were before I was in it, and they would say they have to call their broker and get charged $50 to make a trade. That was a long time ago, but we've got it so nice. And my kids, what I've done is they have an M1 account, and I've got $25 a week that just gets auto invested in M1. My son, he just turned 11, so he knows that there's Tesla in there, so he knows that's his account and it's his Tesla stock, so he can look at it. When he sees a Tesla on the road, he's like, gets all excited because he knows he doesn't have that concept of its growth and compounding like a stock does, but he knows that they have an account and that they own stocks and something. He owns part of a company, and so that's planting that seed now at 11. Hopefully when he gets into his teens and 20s, he has an appreciation for what it's grown into. So it's learning now before I was ever taught.
Yes, and that's so true, like all of what you guys were saying. And like Alexis, when we started following each other, like I was just on her. I was just like, oh my God. Because there's a lot of people like, you follow and you see sometimes you feel like you're talking to yourself.
Right.
Because sometimes people indulge and other times they don't. Um, but it took a few of my simple tweets that literally went viral several times. And then by me joining Wealth Squad, a lot of those things started going, even more viral. But I still look at myself as a mom, that mom that just started. I didn't let Wells Fargo beat me completely down. I kept researching, and I took what my parents didn't know and I ran with it. And now I'm here. And every day you have to understand that you're still learning. There's information out there daily. And you're like, oh, wow, I didn't know that. I didn't know about this stock. I didn't know this company was doing this. I didn't know that. So to hear that, you, Paul, you talk about your kid, and I have a 12-year-old. My oldest daughter is 12. And to hear her excitedly talk about something she's seen, whether it's Amazon, Tesla, Starbucks. And I was like, Mommy, we own all of those, right? And I'm like, yep, we sure
really,
do.
really cool.
It's so cool to see it. And like I talked about before, that 15 cent made me excited. And when I got to 100 and 200, that literally is that coming from ET, that made me cry. And I was like, you talk about mistakes, Alexis, in your 20s. I was working at McDonald's from 2003 to 2008. Back then, guys, their shares was $20 and under. I had no idea to invest. I didn't know.
You're working at the Golden Bridge the whole time.
Yes. So thinking about, the mistakes in your 20s. And I went to HBCU. So, I had the time of my life before becoming a mother. But had I known what I know now, I would be a millionaire.
Oh man.
I'd be a millionaire. But like you say,
You should froze.
It's
not just me.
We're still here.
She'll come back.
We'll get her back. Well, yes. So back to it. She was explaining, how important it is to how it was when she was working at McDonald's, and how valuable it was to work there, and she didn't notice how important the stock was at that time. Looking back, just saying, wow, if I would have just taken this move here to purchase the stock, I could have been in a different situation now. But with the knowledge that she has now, she's going to take it now, and even that's why she's hitting the ground running even harder. So just getting that message out there is very important. To just don't think about it. Just start today, start tomorrow, put the first $5 in. That's what I'm challenging you guys to do this week out there. Invest at least $5 this week. Yes. If you guys let us know, come find us on YouTube, come find us on Twitter, wherever, and just say, hey, I invested $5 this week, and I promise you we will give you a star back and a high five virtually. Seriously. But Alexis, quick question. So there's a lot of challenges out here. You got the 75-day challenge, when people go to the gym for 75 days. You got, 30-day challenges where people run a mile for 30 days, or get people challenge themselves to go to the gym for 5 days. How do you challenge yourself in the market, as to, hey, I need to hit this amount of shares? I see that you have a color coding for, how many shares that you're getting for an ETF in the market. How do you go by planning those out?
So for me, if you follow me on Twitter, you see I have these different sheets.
Welcome back, MzNovie. We got you.
Don't know what happened. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Alexis. I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened. Technology.
I have these different tracking sheets. And the reason why I do that is because I don't have accountability. So I have to hold myself accountable. And then also the sheets help me to look to see where I started and where I'm at now. I recently posted on my Instagram page on my Instagram and on my Twitter page that I have over 700 shares in just index funds.
I saw that. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
so.
And so
Yes.
with, for example, FZROX, that's only $15 a share. So that's easy.
It was 12.
As of Friday, June
Friday.
10th, 9th, it closed around $15 a share. So that's
Oh, man.
easy for me to accumulate. And so the goal is to have, 10,000s of shares by the time I retire. And so those tracking sheets just hold me accountable. So when I get paid, I just want to knock out as many shares as possible just to see that growth.
Yes. And like you said, it's only $15 a share, right? And like when we go to MzNovie, she mentioned when I go to Starbucks, what you're spending $5, $6 on a coffee. I know you're spending, you can go take the $6 and put it right back in the Starbucks, or you can take the $6 and buy an ETF that doesn't cost you any money to hold. So that means that as they're managing your money, and rocks, that's what I call it, or FXAIX, or not FXAIX, but FZROX. I know it's zero managed money fees, so they won't charge you anything for putting that money in there and making money on top of that money in a taxable or tax-free account like a Roth IRA. So you'll get double the points by doing that. But yeah, by having that mind, your 2 eyes are your best research tools. I mean, if you're not using these 2 here to research these stocks, then you're not gonna know what to buy. I mean, you can walk outside and see what's going on. I mean, you can see what more and more EVs are on the road. So it's like, you can go look online and go look at your latest news article is probably going to include some type of move with Tesla or anything, involving GM. I mean, those type of moves like that. So it's like, follow the news, not all the news, but the news. Use your eyes. When you're driving by these companies like Home Depot, I guarantee you drive by Home Depot or Lowe's right now, I guarantee there's the parking lot's like pretty steady right now. Same with the CVS. Same with McDonald's. Was McDonald's jamming back then? You know what I'm saying? It's jamming even more now. They're screaming ba da ba ba ba. I'm loving it. Seriously. So
listen, I so wish I could have invested back then. Oh my goodness. I'm like, wow. And I worked with my god sister, and I was so mad at her for a while, but we cleared that up. But she started secretly, and she told me years later, she didn't want to share it because she didn't know what she was doing, and she didn't want anyone to lose money in the process. But I was just so angry. I was like, you could have just let me know, just let me make that decision. But that is something I really, really regret from my 20s, not knowing about it, and not having any idea of what it was. And I graduated college in the middle of the recession. I had got on in Tallahassee, Florida, but they had a freeze on the system, so I didn't understand what was going on at that time. There was a freeze across all government and state jobs. So not knowing until about 2012, actually, what had happened. I was just in la la land, living it up in college.
Like we all did.
Crashing around me. I had no idea. But that's all a part of learning, living, and growing. All that all 4 of us know now, we take that and we do better as the years go on. And it's just so awesome. And I touched on crypto a little bit earlier, but I have a god brother, and he was in my ear 2019, and he was like, sis, you got to buy some Ethereum, man. It's only $100, da, 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 da. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't trust that. I don't put my money into things I don't trust. And I forgot to mention to you guys, I've been an entrepreneur since I was a kid. So I knew the value of money very early. I went from selling candy to doing hair to now teaching people how to invest in other things too. So I knew the value of money very early on, and I knew how to make it and keep it. But once I learned how to invest it, oh my goodness. But back to that Ethereum. Oh, if I had listened to my brother. I didn't get in until the end of 2020, and we all know how far it had jumped from then to there. But
Yeah. Yep.
yes, like you said earlier, oh my God, your eyes and your ears are your biggest rewards when it comes to this whole environment of investing, this whole community. Always do your due diligence, but never sit on great information.
Yeah.
Because you'll miss out on opportunities of a lifetime. And in the midst of right now, all the chaos that is going on, we are sitting on some major opportunities. I've been preaching about these stock splits since 2020. A lot of people listen, and those that have listened, their shares with between Amazon, Apple, Shopify, they've multiplied. Yep. And here we are able to witness more. If they don't see these prices and these life-changing transfers of wealth at this moment, I don't know what will help people. No, we are living in some great times, And I love what you're doing, Alexis, because I don't know a lot about index funds, but I can always count on you to drop some knowledge here and there every week. And I love that. I appreciate that. I'm more of a bigger risk taker, so I indulge in the individual companies.
Me too.
Yes, I indulge in those.
On here though, right?
Right. Yes, but like Alexis said, less risk and safer. It's a great avenue for index funds. And I really appreciate that. I have to give all of you your flowers. You know, we come in and day out. We all have busy lives, and we drop that free knowledge to help change one life at a time. And we just got to keep going. We just got to keep going and growing and building wealth. And like I mentioned earlier, when you fall, go back to your plan. Go back to your drawing board and keep going. Don't ever give up, and understand that your long term will carry you. Your long term will take you far. Don't try any get rich schemes. Don't do it. It's not gonna help.
The risky ones are out there, and they're good for us to. If you have, you have your lion's share of money sitting. I know the dog. He's dipped his toe into options now. Whether I take blame or credit for that, I'm not sure. But I know it's an option. It's a way to get some short-term increases that you don't realize in the stock market.
Yes,
but what you talked about, what I think we all, and I think what's great is, and I've said this before in the Twitter community that we're all part of, is everyone is there to kind of help each other out. No one's going to tell you in that Twitter community, hey, go buy Texas Roadhouse. No one's going to say go buy this position. Dave might a little bit.
He's always tweeting about that.
He's pretty clear though about what I'm doing.
Texas Roadhouse in Atlanta. I'm like, Dave, let me go on Matt. I really went on Matt to type in Texas Roadhouse.
I know, I saw that.
I did the same thing. I Googled like, where's the nearest Texas Roadhouse? It was like Douglasville.
I know where mine is. I drive by it every day, but I think last week, a friend of mine at work, he sent me an email that he was going to send out to our department. And he said, can you proofread this for me real quick? And so I read through it and I sent him some changes just because I'm a pretty good writer. And he appreciated that. And he sent out his email. And then he texted me later on. He's like, hey, the chief just sent me an email just telling me that I sent out a good message and thanking me for it. And he says, I never got that before. I never got that kind of feedback. And I want to thank you. And I said, I sent him a little gift that just said, when we lift each other up, we all rise. And I think that's something that we're all kind of like, we all subscribe to that thought that we're not here. Just if I give y'all a good tip or a good point on a stock and you guys get into it and you make money, it doesn't detract from me. It doesn't take away from my gains or anything I'm doing. And I think we all realize that we're not competing at all with each other on anything, that the more we all share, the better we all are as a community. And I take a little bit of liberty in that because I know that the community that you're all part of is a little bit different than what I grew up in. And I just want to just give you guys a shout out because you're putting a face on something that like Miss Jovia said, is not a lot of people out there who look like y'all really see that as an option in their lives. And to present that to them as an option in their lives to create that kind of generational wealth that so many other Americans enjoy. And you can start that now. I know the dog's doing it with his family and you guys doing yours. And eventually, you know, Alexis, when you start your family, it's going to be the same way. And I think that's amazing to me. I get a really emotional feeling thinking about the kind of disadvantages that have occurred to a lot of people in this country because of lack of knowledge, lack of education, lack of access. And you guys are breaking through those walls. And I think it's going to be amazing generations in the future are going to result from seeds like this. And I think that's great. I applaud every one of you for that.
Thank you. Absolutely. That's what I love about this community. It takes you away from the chaos in this world. Like day in and day out, the
There's
things
chaos
that
in the
we
world right
all
now?
face.
I'm not picking
Yeah.
up.
Right. Right. Listen, that's why I stay in tune.
And the stock market's going up. Wait a minute.
Ignore the noise and invest, right?
That's why I stay in tune with this community. I don't think I mentioned y'all. Oh my God. I'm MzNovie Invest on Twitter. And on my Instagram is we.in.best. So that's how you guys can find me out there. But yes, as Paul mentioned, Alexis and the Dividend Dog, like it is such a great community to be a part of. And I love how much knowledge we share for free. We come and give our all for free some days. It's amazing.
You're doing good work, every one of you.
And it's like, why would I? And back to what Paul was saying, you know, it's not going to take away from my gains or make me lose even more than one purchases of stock that I purchased or not. It's like, yo, if I'm putting my last couple of dollars of my 9 to 5 into this, like that means that I have some type of faith in this. Not saying this is financial advice. This is never financial advice. By the way, putting that out there for you guys. But yeah, that's just how I think about it. And I wanted to give Alexis a shout out too because she came up with the dog match strategy. She like came up with the whole idea of it. I was like, you know what? That is gonna go. That is the name of the match program. And we're gonna go with it. So I wanted to thank you.
That's so dope.
Because you know, I told you, I was like, listen, I'm gonna have you on the podcast one day, and I'm taking the dog strategy. I'm gonna use it. But you are definitely getting the flowers. So yes, thank you for that. It's awesome. I have it right here written on my wall. People, you know, I tell people I call it the dog strategy. Even when I was in Chicago, I even gave you guys a shout out too because you know I wanted to continue to give people credit who motivate me and so on. So and Miss Genovia, I followed you before I even started my Twitter thing. I remember I think I was doing speakers or something before. You know, on that exact thing. So you were one of the first people I followed along with Chris Johnson, the Wall Squad, and Michael and all those. It's cool to see, me collaborating with some of the people, that I started following way before I, even branded, the Dividend Dog. I don't even know what, the name came up. I just looked at my dogs one day and was like, Dividend Dog. So here we are.
Isn't that funny? Like you get these group of people and like we have our own little like superstars kind of, people that you looked up to. I sent Dog a text the other day. Brad Thomas started following me and I just sent a little screenshot to him like, oh wow, cool. Look at Brad Thomas is following me on Twitter.
I was like, oh snap, boy. I was like, what up, Brad? Hit the follow button.
Look, we made it.
Right.
It's like that, right?
It's just so surreal and so cool, man. And like the original collaboration of this whole podcast for the women. Oh my goodness. Like Alexis and I and it's another young lady I follow, Vaughn, and
Vaughn
is Mommy Trader. Right. And Mommy Trader, oh my God, when Mommy Trader, when she reached out to me, I was in awe. I was like, oh my God, this lady is a millionaire. Right. She's a millionaire from investing. And when she told me she admired some of the stuff I do, like, oh my goodness, like you said, Paul, we have our own little superstars. And I was like, wait, I'm just MzNovie. I'm just little Miss Invest.
Twitter needs to have award shows for Twitter. For Twitter. I swear.
It was in Chicago. You were there.
Yes, yes. Like, it's just so dope. And what was really mind blowing for me, the amount of people that reached out to me from Canada, Africa, London, and they was like, MzNovie, like, I love what you're doing. I was just like, oh my God. I had to stop and call and talk to my mom and dad. I was like, listen, people are following me on the other side of the world.
Amazing.
It's just, it's so mind-blowing and cool. It's so cool. Like, that lets us know, each one of us here, like, if you can touch somebody and help somebody change their family dynamic via wealth, just reach out, do what you're doing daily, and it'll reach someone.
Mm-hmm.
It will.
It's so dope.
Yeah.
Man, I can't tell you how much it's meant to me to just be able to sit and talk to you guys today. It's been incredible listening to your stories, and I'm really excited to see the future, how y'all bring up your kids and continue your journeys and stuff like that. And I'm going to keep learning from it. The index funds is something that I told the dog when I first started getting, I didn't have an idea about how mutual funds worked, so I turned my account over to a management company, and I was going to pay them a management fee. And then I started looking into it, and I started asking him questions about it. And we went through, I sent him a whole list once, and we went through it together, and so we found the ones with no fees and and so I emailed the company. I'm like, no, I don't need you guys no more. I'm cool. I'll do this on my own.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So I appreciate the knowledge and the information that everyone here provides, because it helps us no matter what, no matter how long you've been investing, you're going to learn something new.
Yes.
Which is the weirdest thing, right? Because you got like Peter Lynch and Warren Buffett. There's so much information, so much to learn from them. There's no reinventing the wheel, but as new opportunities come up, there's going to be new ways to take advantage of the stuff they've taught us. So we can take Warren Buffett's investing advice and say, okay, index funds are the way to go. But then all of a sudden there's a no fee, no load, no cost, no nothing fund. So, and I learned that from the dog, you know what I mean? So took what Warren taught me and what the dog taught me, and now I'm in that fund, you know what I mean? So that's what we're all doing. We're all just continuing the journey together, which is great.
Mm-hmm. And I'm going to continue the whole FZROX too. I have that in a rollover, but I'm going to eventually just have that, for my future kids, honestly. And I think that thing's been treating us well too. I know I'm up like 20% on it right now.
My basis is 1449 because I go every 2 weeks. I get into it with my 403B, so it's going to change.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I'm making full use of my 10% match.
Yes, you better. You better. Awesome. Well, guys, I'm going to round us out here. I thank each and every last one of you for being here on the
before we round up, let's go around and let everyone just kind of go through their contact information again.
Oh, yeah.
We'll do it all at once, and we'll start with Alexis and then Jovia, and then you bring us together in the whole, and that way everyone knows how to follow each other.
Let's do it.
Go ahead, Alexis.
All right.
So I'm Alexis, and you can follow me on Instagram at Proverbs 31 Investor, and on Twitter at Alexis_investor.
Miss Jovia?
I am Genovia, aka Miss Invest, on Twitter. Instagram is we.in.best. And how you can find me.
Close it out, dog.
All right, guys. And you guys know where you can find the dog and me and Paul, options_legacy. You can find me on Twitter at the Dividend Dog, and you can find me hanging out on the YouTube channel at Investing on a 9 to 5, and my Instagram too, where I'm posting some of my crazy option plays and researches at the Dividend Dog as well, and get a little peek of my inside life of me going on trail walks with my dogs or going to the gas station. That's about it. And yeah, guys. So this was a great podcast here, and I'm gonna hand it over to Paul to close us out.
Options_legacy on Twitter. I'm not posting a lot lately because I'm doing other things, but I'm still reading everybody's posts and commenting when I feel I have something to add to the conversation. But I appreciate y'all and the education I'm getting from you. And I look forward to this week is coming up. Like we said, there's a little bit of chaos in the world. A lot of stuff's going to happen this week. It's going to be interesting how that works out, but it doesn't matter because we have a plan and we know what we're doing with our money day after day. So that's it. Have a plan. That way you know what you're going to do.
Absolutely.
Awesome, guys. Well, thank you again for being here and listening. If you're still listening out there, I hope you guys are on the Investing on a 9 to 5 podcast. Hope you guys have enjoyed the show. Give us a like and subscribe and share this with your friends. And let us know if you guys, we challenge you guys seriously to invest $5 this week. It's literally your only challenge. $5. Go find your company. First company you see out there, Walmart, Starbucks, Chevron, BP, wherever you go, first place in the morning. Put $5 in that company. Have a good week. You can do it because we have done it too. Have a good day.
See ya.